Okay. It says
Okay.
live online.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So I just interviewed a mother of 5 children, and her youngest was 10. She didn't have any special needs children herself, and so I just asked her the second set of questions on there.
Mhm.
She's worked in primary a lot, and so she talked a lot about the situation she ran into with her church calling. And one that she talked about was a little 5-year-old boy who had autism.
Yeah.
And she said before, like right when she got in and the head kind of like got to know the kid a little, she he was just so obnoxious and she just she didn't know how to handle it kind of thing.
Mhm.
But once she found out kind of his background, his story, I guess you could say, she was a lot more understanding. She had found out that he lives with his grandparents with siblings that have different dads because his mom is in and out of jail. And so she was able to better understand why he can't sit in his seat for 5 minutes and be quiet because church in primary is the only like structured thing that he had in his life. And so when she found out those details, she was better um, able to be more understanding. And then she talked about her own daughter. She doesn't have special needs or anything, but she had like went to speech intervention at school just because she had struggled with reading and pronunciation. And they found that out from just going to like parent teacher conferences and talking with the teacher, and the teacher just kind of saying maybe this would be a good idea from what she had seen in the classroom. But and then she talked about one of her older children because I asked the question about like, did you ever notice your children ever taking longer to walk than others? And she said her one daughter was 15 months until she started walking, and um, she had just thought about kind of like the birth order. So there's two older siblings, and then there was the daughter, and she thinks that maybe she was slower walking because she had two older siblings that always carried her places. And so she wasn't always had to be reliant on like trying to figure out how to climb up on things. And so she thought maybe that would be a way that she was a slower walker. But other than that, that was the only things that like she could observe in her own life. Um, was that all the questions?
I think so.
Um,
Like everything to me.
yeah, just like along with the woman, like in primary, she's like it was just uncomfortable to approach those situations. It was awkward, and she wasn't for sure how to like approach those situations and how to step in and be like a force.
Yeah.
Um, but she said like once you found out the situation, the awkwardness and the uncomfortableness kind of went away. Once you understood their like capabilities was
Mhm.
what she said was the most awkward was when you do meet someone with special needs, you're not always sure what their capabilities are. And so you're just not for sure how to communicate with them because you're not sure of that. So that's what we talked about.
Okay. Sounds good. Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so I actually interviewed my older sister, but she's a mother of two. She's got a daughter who is 4 and a daughter who is almost 3. And um well, first I like asked her like about them two and like the difference between them, and neither of them are special needs.
Okay.
And them two developing, she said the youngest one, so her second child, started talking a lot faster than the older child, but she thinks that's because there was a lot more talking. Like the older daughter had her friends around, she was always talking. There was a lot more talking in the house, so she just picked up on talking quicker. And she actually started crawling earlier and like walking earlier, and we think it's because she wanted to keep up with her older sister, wanted to do the things her older sister was doing.
Mhm.
So that's just what she talked about. And then I asked her about like special needs kids and stuff, and so um so there's this little girl she knew. It was her oldest daughter's age, so she knew her when she was like 3 or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
and she was pretty much normal. She was never diagnosed, but she had some autistic like tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she was normal and everything, but she was kind of OCD and wouldn't eat food or touch food in any way. Like, so for the most part, she was normal and everything, but like she still hadn't progressed like to normal food and um, just wouldn't touch it. I don't know what I was gonna say. And my sister, she never felt like awkward with the child. Like you never knew when she would really like get upset about something, so you had to kind of be careful about her like outbursts sometimes. The only thing is only time she like felt uncomfortable was talking to the parents because she didn't want to offend the parents in any way and like didn't know what stuff they were sensitive about, if they were really sensitive about like her not being able to eat or anything. And like sometimes she would say like, oh, my daughter, like I wish she would eat anything besides cookies, like she only wants treats. And like the mother of the other child would be like, oh, I would love if my daughter would just eat a cookie because she wouldn't eat anything. So it was kind of like hard. You had to be sensitive about, you don't want to like say anything about your child like versus their child, so you just had to be careful. And she has worked in primary a lot, and there's this little boy right now in their primary class who um he doesn't he can't really talk. He murmurs a lot and like they don't really know what's going on, and he has really bad behavior. And so they kind of wonder if like he can't hear. They haven't approached the parents yet, just like as a primary presidency. They've like kind of discussed it and wondered what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they think he maybe can't hear very well, so that's causing him to like not speak very well and having like misbehavior problems because he just like can't really listen.
Mm-hmm.
But they like haven't acted upon their thinkings yet. They just are still trying to figure it all out. Um, And then that's pretty much all we talked about. Just she mentioned that she thought her oldest daughter for a while had a stutter, and she was kind of worried about that, didn't know what to do, and like if she should like worry about it, but then it went away, and she thinks she was just like learning to talk, and she could think a lot faster than she could actually talk.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just coming out stuttered and stuff. So I think kind of like teaches you that like every kid kind of develops on their own, and we should give it time to see like what they're really like developing as. Like some kids might have a trouble reading and then like finally it just clicks and they're like, will start reading that like all of a sudden, like, or might not walk for a really long time and then all of a sudden they can just walk, just you need to
Yeah.
be patient with development. Like every kid has their own time that they are going to develop.
Yeah. That reminds me of I had interviewed another woman for a past class that I took, and she had a little boy that was just like a lot slower on talking
Mm-hmm.
than like an average kid, you would say. And so she was telling me when I was interviewing her that like people would ask her like, oh, like has he been started talking yet? Anyhow, and so she had just like what you said, she was very patient with it and had said like right now it's not that big of an issue because he's like slowly making progress,
Mm-hmm.
but like he's not um where they say they should be at that age kind of thing. And so I definitely think it's important to be
Yeah.
patient with those things and not like definitely like, jump to conclusion and say, oh, like my child.
Yeah, even me as a child, I didn't walk for a really long time. I was just lazy, I guess. And like my mom took me, like I had a checkup, and like my doctor was like, "Oh, I don't know, like she should be walking, like nothing's wrong." But I just didn't really feel like it, I guess. I was kind of stubborn and just like being carried around. So just like every child, like I could walk, and like my mom just needed to be patient with me and let me develop and like do my thing, and then finally started walking, and like I could do it fine.
Mhm.
Oh, I think it just depends.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what we should do about like time wise.
I know, well, obviously it's going to be shorter.
Yeah. What
How,
time did you start? Like, what time did you start the video?
um, like 10 minutes ago, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I sent the email, oh, I don't know, like 10
Here.
minutes ago.
Yeah, you sent me the link at. Oh,
I sent the
the
link
time
like,
on my computer says 7:58, but I think I was
Mine's
at
8:58. But I think if we're just going by like,
it's just different times. So for my time, it was 6:58. So we've been on for almost 20 minutes.
yeah, well, yeah, we've been talking for almost 20 minutes, and the actual thing's been recorded for about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we started the recording at like 10 minutes,
Hmm.
and we scheduled to meet at 6:45.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I guess we can just email the teacher and just tell her we tried to meet all together.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't know, I mean, if they really needed to, I could probably find a time tomorrow.
Yeah.
No.
And then just have them.
Or they could just meet with each other.
Hmm.
I don't know what to do.
Well, I don't either.
She's gonna like watch this all. Um. Okay. So the final thing is, what can you learn from this experience about normative variation, maturational delay, transient disorders, or persistent impairments? Did you see any themes or patterns occurring in your discussion and findings about your respective interviews?
I think we kind of covered that when like talking about the kids that like you notice that they're slower, but you just kind of like are patient and just kind of let time take its role and wait to see if they will develop it. And then if it gets to be like serious a long wait, then treat it more seriously. But in the moment, be more patient with the development because every child will develop at different paces.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like real sense of normal. There's kind of like the acceptable range of time that like kids should develop, and if it's like past this certain point, then you kind of should be worried.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if they're 5 and so, you know, like a certain time and they're like still not walking or talking, like that's a time then that's a
Yeah.
little far. But I don't think there's any like set normal time. There's like the average range of development, and if they're like kind of around that, then that's great. But I think every child really does follow their own path, and like every child has their own like environment and different like factors and like personality and traits stuff that like contribute to them like more being motivated to walk or talk or anything and not being motivated and stuff. So I think parents just need to like learn from different children and just not like jump to conclusions.
Yeah. It's just interesting because my mom was telling me that because I was a slow walker too, and I was a middle child, so there was two older than me as well, and she had seen another child just a few days ago, and she was like, "Oh, how old's your child?" Blah blah blah, and they were just barely starting to walk, and they were at that like year mark, like 12 months. So she just thought it was interesting how this child like didn't have any other older siblings, but was walking sooner than me, who had two other older siblings. That's why she said it could possibly be because I had two older siblings, maybe carried me around more or stuff like that. And so sometimes, I think birth order sometimes could play a role in that too.
Yeah, I was a middle child too, and my mom it kind of makes sense about how I am now. I just kind of like want to stick close to my mom and stick close to home, which they all make fun of me for. But just I think every child has their own personality trait, kind of. Even at that age, you can kind of see what they'll be like when they're older. And I wasn't very adventurous or like wanting to really get out there and go, which I'm still more of a homebody and like just I don't know. So it kind of you can see how like every child is different, has their own. They even at that age have who they are, a part of their personality and traits and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as for like the other two, I would just say that we can just like turn in this link and or email like Brittany and Renee and just let them know like we did our interview or we did our discussion, and then we can talk to our teacher and maybe email her and see what we should do in that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Because like Nobody has even emailed.
Yeah, I'm confused by her email. I mean, yeah, we should just send the link to them and to our teacher. Is that who we need to send it to or post it?
Yeah, we're just supposed to put it on that discussion, that
Okay.
Discord post, the same one where we were.
Yeah, I know the one.
So if you want to post that,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then, I guess we can just. I can email the teacher and ask her what we should do, and then I'll just let you know.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
So you email the teacher. I think I can post this. I'm not really sure what happens when I press stop broadcasting, but we'll figure it out.
Yes, I guess we will figure it out. All right,
Okay.
let's try that, and then I'll just let you know what she says.
Okay. Sounds
All right,
good.
perfect.
Yeah.
See you, Leslie.
Bye. Thanks.